Hey guys, what's going on? Zine here, and I'm on the TrollCraft server following up pretty quickly from the previous video where we talked about the scoreboard and the problems that we were having, and we also tried to set up a web display as a replacement for the scoreboard. Now, there were many comments pointing out two things which I just completely spaced, and they're both things that I've worked with and dealt with, but it didn't occur to me. I'm pretty sure, and in my defense, I'm pretty sure that what happened is I was so captivated with CaptainSparklez balls audio that I just got tunnel vision, and that's the only thing I was thinking. But the first thing that people were saying is they were pointing out correctly, web displays can display any web page. So all I need to do is I need to create the image, and rather than putting it on YouTube, I need to host it on a site or like Imager or something like that, and then link to that. The other thing that people were saying a lot of was that I should use a chunk loader to correct the web or not the web display, the open computer screen to keep it from desyncing. And so last night when I saw that, I kind of had that like, oh, that's exactly what's going wrong. So I'm over here, and that you're dead on. I don't need a chunk loader. What I need to do is move it. I mean, I could use a chunk loader, but if you look and I hit F9, you see right here very clearly that there is a chunk border right cutting off the screen from the actual computer. And that's why the screen's initializing wrong when it's all coming up, and why it's shrinking down, and why there's being problems. So that's all I need to do is just move the scoreboard, and things should correct there. But I also wanted to try out the web display thing. So I whipped up another thumbnail, put it up, and then didn't think through my cunning plan entirely. So scaling is going to be an option. My first thought was that it would just automatically scale it, but I'm going to have to obviously figure out a way to adjust the size of the image so that it fits on properly. So that's gonna take a little bit of experimentation, but I do think that I might like how this ultimately ends up being if I can get it to where it looks good on the screen. So I'm gonna go test and play around with different resolutions and see if I can figure out a good size and fit for that, and then we'll see how it looks when I'm done. Okay, so there you have it. I've just barely finished. I got the right size and managed to adjust it in. It looks like I could migrate these a little bit more centered, but I can figure it out. And I mean, that's one of the things as I create the new thumbnails is I can adjust it to as I notice things. But in general, I think that that looks a little bit better. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments whether you prefer one or the other. But I'll probably leave it this way for now, and adjust this over. I don't. I mean, there's a number of things that I don't really love about the current setup. And this way, it's also SSundee, if he wanted to affect the scoreboard, he'd have to actually go and create his own thumbnail and change it. Now, that's not to say that he wouldn't have the capability of doing that, but it is a little bit more of a deterrent than him just being able to edit the Lua file and figure that out. So we did get that going, and you guys are totally right. I just pointed to a image hosting site, create an image, and stop using YouTube. And I was completely tunnel vision on both of those, not even occurring to me, hey, maybe this is a chunk issue. And yeah, I completely turfed it on both of those issues. So good job, guys, on catching that. But I think this is all squared away. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to show it to the guys and see if they have any thoughts or opinions. And then, yeah, let's move on to the next portion. Okay, so for the next trick that we have to do is to start trying to figure out how we want to repair some of this damage. Right? So the idea is that there is now a crust over the top of the majority of the volcano. However, Crainer has broken several holes into it for obsidian purposes and claiming that he was helping me. Thanks for that, Crainer. It wasn't a help at all. But these are going to be areas where the pressure is going to be able to push the lava out, so I would expect the lava to kind of surge up above those. So we might want to try and figure out a way to make that be apparent. The other thing that I want to do is I want to start building some of these that are threatening Jordan's base up higher, so that he really starts to hopefully establish in his mind that the volcano is a threat to his base. That's kind of what I'm hoping for there. And then as for the rest of it, I think I'm going to just leave it for now. It could stay this, kind of semi-molten, semi-hot top, but yet not necessarily having broken through yet. And maybe there's a couple blocks that we could look for that are from the Nether that would give that impression better than obsidian that we could look into. I know that in the comments a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is really simple. It's just a world edit where you grab the obsidian and replace it with lava." And it's true. It's not. That's not terribly difficult. What's hard is actually where I raise the level of the lava. That's where it gets a little bit difficult. Now there are various commands: fix lava, fix like fill type commands for liquids and those sort of things. But they can be pretty dangerous, and you need to be really careful with them. And the reality is just that the way this is a strange shape, the way this is not square at all, or even circular for that matter, makes it really difficult to get a selection. So when I'm trying to build it up, I want to be careful as much as I can not to create weird selections inside the mountain. As you guys have seen on this map, there's quite a few caverns that are built inside the walls here, and so these walls aren't very thick. It's not terribly filled in, and so if I get just one giant selection, I'm going to create huge lava walls that are inside there that just look out of place and strange, and they're very flat and that sort of thing. I know that some already exist, so I've really been trying to take steps to avoid creating that. And as such, the way that I typically go around it now is that I will go into poly selection mode, and I'll just go around the entire caldera at the rim and get a selection of the entire portion. And using poly select, I'm able to do that, and then I can raise the lava up a bit and make that a little bit simpler. What I do is I raise it, and again, there might be better ways. It's just this is what came to mind and what I'm doing, so feel free to tell me how I'm an idiot in the comments, of course. But what I do is I raise it up 5, 10, 15 Y points, and then I fill with cobblestone, just the air, because I don't want to deal with flows and that sort of thing. I want it to all be solid, right? So then once I have that selection and that's all full of cobblestone, I can go around the edges and find any areas that didn't fill in properly, that still have air gaps between the wall and the cobblestone block that I filled in, and correct those and just basically fix the corners and edges so that everything matches up and looks correctly. So that's the more time-consuming process. And then after that was just some experimentation with trying to get the composition, the cobblestone, the sky block, the clay and obsidian and lava, as well as the blazing pyrotheum, all together to kind of look their best in a way that's kind of cool. So we don't have to worry about that again, but we do want to try and make it so that one, there's more of a vent growing and starting to threaten into Sparklez base, and then two, figure out what we want to do here. So let's go ahead, and I'm probably just going to time lapse and poke around and try things, and we'll see how it cuts together. Okay, well, it's not quite as high as I meant it, but it takes a lot of time to try and circle it out and keep it so that it's, hopefully irregular, that the flows make sense in the way they're moving away, and it's definitely rising up. So if Jordan happens to notice it, then he should be able to correlate, I would hope, of why the corner of his base is damaged. It's the heat rising from the lava and the encroachment, so that he gets an idea of, okay, this is starting to affect our base or something, and that might be something to do. If as the course goes on, then I might replace these blocks, expand this section that's broken, and replace it for darker blocks so that you can see the burning a little bit more clearly. But otherwise, I'm going to leave the rest of it alone, and then I think that might be it for today. I realize I didn't have quite as much, but we still have the Applied Energistics 2 Advanced tutorial coming up, and then finally, the last one before this week is the SSundee Revenge videos. So keep your eyes open for that as well. But in the meantime, be sure that you're following the three main principles of the series. That is Crainer, CaptainSparklez, and SSundee. And along the way, go ahead and follow me if you're interested in enjoying yourself. Otherwise, I'm going to take off. You guys all have a great day, and I will see you guys next time we get a video out. Bye-bye!